In this video, I'm going to talk about and share my 3 strategies and divide them into about 12 different hacks or tips on how I grocery shop as a type 1 single father, raising kids that eat completely differently than I do, and how I save money and time doing that. So before I jump in, I became a single dad about 7 years ago, I guess, and have raised daughters since then, sometimes up to 4 at a time. And now I have 2 living with me at home. And over that time, I've learned some strategies to save money and time because you kind of have to. Honestly, when I first started being a single dad as a type 1 diabetic, trying to figure out how to eat and shop and do all that other stuff, I learned a few things. So in the beginning, it was survival, but over time, I became more and more efficient. So I'm hoping to save you time, energy, effort, trial and error. Sure. So the first thing I do is I engage the kids. I did this a month ago as a bit of an experiment just to save me some time and gave them a project to plan a grocery list. And first thing you need to do with that is take stock about what you have. So number 1 in this strategy is taking stock about what you already have in your cupboards. If you don't take a look at what you already have, you could be duplicating things that you don't need. Number 2, sit down and make a list of the meals they would like to eat as a family, right? So I have my preferences, but I can often modify the meals to suit them. So sitting down and planning out what they'd like to eat, what their preferences are for the next 2 weeks was a great exercise, actually. And it's not the first time I've done it. So we have the list. And then the next step is to sort of a guesstimate, I guess, dollar value to each item on the food list. This is important because I've given them X amount of dollars. I have a finite amount of money to spend, and I want to share my cost saving sort of strategies to keep within budget when I do grocery. So by doing this, I can take a look at the list and we can look at it as a family and go, we're not having that $80 roast beef because we can't fit it in the budget this week. So sometimes you have to make those decisions and, use cheaper options. This is a good opportunity to do that. So we write down the list. We have an idea of how much it's going to cost. We can compare it when we get back. So next step is to take the list, and you're probably thinking, okay, well, now let's jump in the car as a family and head out and grocery shop. So strategy number 2 is to leave them at home. I do that 90% of the time now. I learned a very long time ago when I first started being a single dad and shopping for groceries, I would bring them all with me. And mind you, I sort of had to, but not all the time. And when I did bring them with me, I found quickly that, I don't know, I can't pick a number, a lot more money than I should be spending because they would end up begging me for things, throwing things in the cart, not sticking to the grocery list at all. Number 2, I have a route planned out. I know where I'm going to go first, where I'm going to go second, where I'm going to go third. I don't often go to 3 different grocery stores, but I'll often go to 2 different places. There's discount grocery stores most places in Canada anyways, and I'm not sure about where you live, but try to find them. I do shop locally as well. There's a butcher shop I go to, but I typically, when I'm doing my main grocery haul and, to save money and time, I shop at 2 different places. Strategy number 2 is have an idea when you get to the grocery store, the route you're going to take. Don't start venturing random places in the grocery store. I often joke about my ADHD. My kids point out that I do have it. That's why I like to keep busy. But anyways, when you're in the grocery store, have an idea where you're going to go. I learned a long time ago too, when I started to eat healthy, is to stick to the perimeter of the grocery store. If you stick to the perimeter of the grocery store, you're going to hit the produce, the fruits, the vegetables, the healthy stuff. You're going to hit the meat section in most grocery store layouts. So you're going to get your proteins, your healthy, unprocessed foods, basically. And then usually you'll find the dairy and the eggs, that sort of stuff, yogurts, things like that on the outside of the perimeter. If you venture inside the inner aisles, that's where you find all the processed food and garbage, in my opinion. We do venture in there for condiments and sauces and things like that. So having a specific plan when you're in the grocery store and sticking to it will save you time and money and your health, hopefully. Number 3 is shop in bulk. That's another thing I learned to do, sort of not very good at first because I would spend way too much. Shopping at places like Costco, if you have a family of more than 3 or 4 people, especially, and you've got a food plan for 2 weeks, you can really, really save a lot of money on things like meat and things you use a lot of, like dairy, coffee, things like that. So there's a lot of good deals that you can take advantage of. Strategy number 3 is reflection. I get this stuff home. I engage my kids once again. I have them help me bring the groceries in. Number 1, they put the groceries away. That's it. Basically, this time around, this experiment, we did okay. We were about $40 over budget. And it's usually because some bulk items sort of add to that, but they'll last longer. So we're good. And another beautiful thing about doing this as a family is they get excited about the meals they're going to cook. So they have something to look forward to versus just going to do a grocery shop on your own without them. I found this time around, we cooked a lot of meals together after this trip. If you're curious about how a type 1, like myself for 42 years, does carnivore or low carb, check out my video here and I'll show you what happened to my A1C when I went strict carnivore for a few weeks. Thanks for watching.